Hello everyone, this is the Movie Club, and today we are watching a film, iHostage. The film is based on real events. A Bulgarian named Ilian travels to Amsterdam to work and save up for an apartment his wife wants. The man is so exhausted that he sleeps while sitting on the train, and he doesn't even wake up at the final station. When they wake him up, he forgets his headphones. He checks into his usual modest hotel and heads straight to the Apple store for a new device. The store also serves as a service center, and there are plenty of customers. Some are buying new items, others are dropping off tech for repairs. Suddenly, a strange visitor in camouflage walks in and pulls out an assault rifle from his bag. He orders everyone to lie down on the floor, but nobody listens, as some are hiding in the confusion, while others are running out of the store in fear. The man fires a shot into the air, attracting the attention of the police outside. They call for backup and push bystanders further away from the store. Inside, brave salesman Mingus leads 3 customers into the stockroom. Ilian is left alone, confused, and he obediently lies down on the floor, placing his hands behind his head. The attacker is armed not only with a rifle, but also with explosives strapped to his body. Special Forces Officer Winston is urgently called to work straight from a family trip, and Police Officer Kiss is pulled away from a chess game. Meanwhile, the attacker uses the terrified Ilian as a human shield and demands a negotiator, threatening to blow everything up. The people in the stockroom don't know what to do. The salesman thinks it's better to stay quiet, since the terrorist doesn't know they're there. Mingus calls the police and tells them where they're hiding, also mentioning that some people are on the 2nd floor in the cafeteria. Everyone is advised to stay put and not draw attention. The police decide to pull out 2 of their colleagues who are outside the store, fearing they won't be able to leave due to the barricade. A car heads to the scene, and the criminal tenses up, but then realizes it poses no threat to him, and steps back. Ilian tries to talk to him, but the terrorist isn't interested in talking. The special forces arrive with the intention of evacuating people from the 2nd floor, but there's a problem. There are no floor plans, and they can't storm the building blind. Kiss, who leads the police operation, orders them to contact Apple's boss to get the documents. The negotiator, Lynn, arrives at headquarters, and Kiss briefs her on the situation. The snipers might not be able to break through the thick glass of the windows, and the terrorist might blow up the building first. They need to wear him down so he'll surrender, and Lynn is confident she can handle it. Meanwhile, the attacker is reading the news about himself, and Ilian asks for the pills he regularly needs to take, as he has a heart condition. The attacker turns out not to be such a monster. He gives Ilian the medicine and even loosens the ropes on his hands. Then he demands 200 million euros in cryptocurrency, claiming that it's still too little for what's been done to him. The people in the stockroom hear that he's threatening to blow up the whole square, and they realize things are getting worse. One guy angrily blames the salesman for holding him up in the store. The salesman defends himself, saying he saved his life by hiding him in time. The attacker, furious, explains to Ilian that, yes, he asked for a lot of money, but everyone wanted to betray him. The police, the Ministry of Justice, and the government. His life is over. The man takes a photo with the hostage and sends it to journalists, helping to analyze what kind of explosives he has on his chest. It looks like training material, but the bag might hold real explosives. They don't risk storming the building under these circumstances. Mingus gets a call from police officer Mark to check the situation, and he's told that the music in the store is helping with their camouflage by muffling noise. The salesman is terrified, though, because both the music and the lights in the store will turn off at 9 p.m. when the store closes. If people are still inside, the alarm will go off. There's nothing they can do to prevent it. It's all automatically controlled from the office in the US. The police try to contact Apple quickly, and Lynn warns the attacker that these aren't tactics for a storm. When everything shuts down, everyone nervously watches the bandits' reaction. But just a second later, the lights come back on. The Apple headquarters stepped in, and the police breathe a sigh of relief. But Lynn is furious. She gave the terrorist the wrong information, which undermines her authority. She barely keeps her composure, distracts the attacker, and asks him how to address him. He says AA, but she can't get any more details out of him. The man demands a car and safe passage on the highway. He'll take Ilian with him, and when he's sure he's not being followed, he'll let him go. Lynn argues that the Bulgarian is unwell, but the terrorist doesn't care. And then a blogger posts about the people on the second floor. Kiss is shocked. Now the attacker knows, thanks to one idiot, that there are still 40 hostages. The special forces need to get into the building urgently and evacuate the people. Mingus suggests there's a back entrance and draws a map. Kiss contacts the blogger, who refuses to delete the post, and he yells at her in such a way that she listens. Lin is asked to keep the attacker talking while the special forces work. The criminal complains that everyone's injustice forced him to do this. He was thrown onto the floor of a cell in handcuffs, but now he'll get compensation. The negotiator says she wants to get him out alive, and he opens up, telling her his name, Ammar. The police quickly identify him as a Syrian refugee with mental health issues who's broken the law in the past. Lin worries about the hostage and praises the attacker for treating him well. Then Ammar hears noise upstairs and heads to the second floor, where they are already evacuating people. Mark thanks Mingus over the phone and promises to get him and his group out. Afterward, the Special Forces boss tells the team to take a break. The pizza and coffee are on the way. Ammar changes his mind about going upstairs and returns to Ilian. The man gets a call from his wife, but doesn't dare answer. The terrorist takes the phone and leaves his gun next to Ilian, showing trust in the hostage. He locks eyes with the Bulgarian and advises him not to think of himself as Bruce Lee. Ilian engages, telling him about his wife's dream of owning an apartment. He says how much he loves her and that she's probably worried about him right now. There's probably someone worrying about Ammar too. He hints at the humanity in the terrorist. But Ammar replies that it's not worth worrying, and he's the one to blame for all of this. Ilian continues to play on the attacker's emotions. He says that he too could have taken a hostage. He has financial problems, but no one deserves such horror. Ammar turns it all on himself. He didn't deserve such treatment from the authorities. The Bulgarian agrees, saying it's familiar to him, working like a dog while the government takes a huge cut in taxes. The Syrian notes that in this country, he's a nobody, but abroad, with money, he'd be Robin Hood. Ilian hints that the attacker won't be able to leave here, and he won't get the money. But Ammar seems indifferent to his fate and just offers to have some coffee. In the stockroom, a woman undresses and moans from the unbearable heat. She's having chest pains. Mingus is warned that the terrorist is coming their way, so it's better to stay quiet. Lucas is ready with a fire extinguisher, watching the door to knock out the attacker, and just then, the woman passes out. The police come up with a clever way to help her. Lin is tasked with distracting Ammar, while a doctor on the phone asks Mingus about the symptoms. If it's a heart attack, the special forces will have to storm the store, but it turns out to be just a panic attack. Lin suggests to Ammar that he surrender, as he hasn't done anything too bad yet, but he thinks the point of no return has already passed. Then he notices the green dot from a sniper's rifle aimed at him. The terrorist is furious. This woman has distracted him and put him in the line of fire. He threatens to blow the hostage's brains out. But Lin defiantly retorts, did he think there were only police officers blocking the traffic? All the law enforcement in the city is here, and as long as he's talking to her, they're not touching him. But Ammar tells her to get lost, and demands a male negotiator to keep everything clear. Winston and his colleague are eating pizza in the car, taking advantage of a break to discuss family matters. His partner recently got divorced and regrets it, advising to cherish and appreciate the wife. Meanwhile, another negotiator volunteers to replace Lin, but she assures them that Ammar is on the hook. She says she'll get him out in less than an hour, but everyone is against taking such a risk since the attacker is clearly unpredictable. The negotiator calls Ammar, but only angers him, and the terrorist starts a countdown before detonating the bomb. Ilian prays fervently, and Lin suggests asking what kind of car he wants for his getaway. Ammar suddenly changes his mind and chooses a limousine. Ilian begs the man to ask the police for water, as he can't drink coffee or energy drinks available in the building due to his heart condition. In a panic, he even raises his voice at the attacker, who gets angry, but he grants the hostage's request. Water is brought under the door by a robot, and now it needs to be retrieved. Ammar, using Ilian as a shield, approaches the exit and sees a crowd of special forces and a helicopter circling overhead. Ilian eagerly inhales fresh air and nervously looks around. The snipers have their sights on the terrorist, and Mark warns people in the stockroom that when given the command, they'll need to lie on the floor. Ilian tries to grab the bottles but can't, as his hands are bound, so the attacker puts down his weapon and bends down for the water. Ilian looks pleadingly at the fighters, hoping for help, but they don't intervene, and he seizes the moment to run out into the street. Ammar chases after him, but Winston, discarding his pizza, hits the gas. The car hits the terrorist, and he flies across the square, lying there under the sniper's sights. It's unclear whether he's alive, but there's no explosion, so bomb disposal experts are sent to check on him. The Special Forces leader praises Winston for his quick thinking, although they now have more problems to deal with. The hostages are evacuated from the building, and Mark thanks Mingus for providing the information. He extends his hand, but Mingus, unable to hold back his emotions, embraces the officer. He pulls himself together, but breaks down in the car on the way home. Mingus is once again in a confined space, trembling, and the brave man cries. Kiss reassures Lynn, reminding her that while she was talking to Ammar, they managed to get dozens of people out. Hours later, nothing in the square remains to remind anyone of the bloody drama that unfolded there. In the morning, a worn-out Winston embraces his beloved wife under the approving and slightly envious gaze of his partner. Ilian, exhausted, collapses onto the bed at the hotel, still in his clothes, finds his newly purchased headphones in his pocket, turns on the music, and cries. Ammar, severely wounded, was taken to the hospital, where he died the next day. Later, Ilian and 4 hostages were awarded for their bravery. The investigation lasted several months, and it was concluded that Winston had acted lawfully. The motives of the criminal remain unknown to everyone. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.